One second. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Science. Today, we're going to be talking about animal adaptations. We're going to officially start our animal unit, which personally is one of my favorites because I absolutely love animals. Okay. This is going to be some of the key vocabulary we're going to be talking about this week. Okay. And kind of throughout the unit. Adaptation, camouflage, mimicry, instinct, migration, and hibernation. Today's lesson, we're only going to be talking about 3 of these things. There are different types of adaptation. Can you say adaptation? Good job. An adaptation is anything that helps an organism survive its environment is in an adaptation. So, for example, you know how I can do one of these little thumbs up? These thumbs are in type of adaptation. These thumbs help me survive in the environment. It helps me pick up things, lets me eat things, all those good things. Okay, so an adaptation is anything that helps an organism survive. An organism is just like a living thing. It also refers to the ability of living things to adjust to different conditions within the environment. And so these are going to be some of the things that we're talking about. Well, now let's talk about what are the different types of adaptations? What are the different changes in different animals that help them survive? Have you ever wondered why a shark has so many teeth? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you. This is a structural adaptation. And when we talk about structural adaptation, we go structural, just like a little house. Remember, we talked about text structure, how my text is built. Well, a structural adaptation is an adaptation that involves some part of the animal's body. So, for example, really sharp teeth, really sharp teeth from a shark. That helps the shark survive by eating its prey. Thumbs that you and I have, different, so not only teeth are a structural adaptation, body coverings. So different types of skin. Does Miss Wallen have feathers? Do I have feathers? Do you have feathers? No, we don't have that type of structural adaptation. So now birds have feathers because it helps them fly. It helps them survive. Okay. So a structural adaptation is how that animal's body is built. It can be through their teeth, their body coverings, or even how they move or the movement that animal takes. For example, a snake. The way a snake moves helps it get into small little nooks and crannies to get those mice, to hide from predators, so forth and so forth. So, a structural adaptation is an adaptation that involves a body part, for example, their teeth, their body coverings are like skin, or their movement. Another type of adaptation is protective coloration. Now I want you to look at these pictures and I want you to think, Miss Wallen, why did you just show me a bunch of pictures of some sticks? Why did you just show me some pictures of some dirt? Guys, I didn't do that. I am showing you examples of protective coloration. This protective coloration helps these animals survive. I bet unless you look closely, did you notice something? What is right here? Oh my, you're right. It's a rabbit. That rabbit is using protective coloration. Oh my, oh my gosh. What is that? What is this? There is a frog right here. This frog is using protective coloration to hide. And my personal favorite, this lovely polar bear, completely white, completely protected by the snow. So now, what do we think that protective coloration is? I know color is like kind of like the color of something. Um, and then protective, that word protective, that means to like take care of or to like shield. So what do we think protective coloration is? Let's read about it. Coloration and protective resemblance allow an animal to blend into the surroundings or their environment. So when we do protective coloration, we go blend. Okay. Another word that might be used, and you might have heard this, is the word camouflage. Can you say camouflage? Okay. Now say camouflage 5 times fast. Camouflage, 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 camouflage. Camouflage, their camouflage makes it hard for enemies to single them out. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about I have structural adaptation, which is in a change in their bodies or how their body is built through their teeth, their skin, or how my animal moves. And then I have protective coloration or camouflage. And that camouflage allows these organisms or living things to blend in with their surroundings in order to be protected. This rabbit isn't going to get eaten by a wolf because the wolf won't be able to see it. This frog won't be able to get eaten by a snake because they're protected by how or by their coloration. So far we have structural adaptation and protective coloration or camouflage. And the last one we're going to do today is mimicry. Can you say mimicry? Let's say it in a really high pitched voice 3 times. Mimicry, mimicry, mimicry. Okay. Now let's say it in like a really, really deep, deep voice 3 times. Mimicry, mimicry, mimicry. Okay. So now this is, I'm going to ask you because my siblings do this to me all the time. Have you ever been with, and I'm going to use Natalie, my sister Natalie. When I was younger, Natalie, I would say something and then Natalie would copy me and she would mimic me. And I'd be like, stop copying me, Chase, stop copying me. I said, you better stop. You better stop. And it kind of kept going. Well, mimicry, kind of that same thing. It's like that back and forth. She was copying what I was saying. Okay. Now, well, let's see how mimicry, she was mimicking what I was saying. Let's see how mimicry happens in animals. Well, mimicry allows one animal to look, sound, or act like another animal to fool its predators into thinking it's poisonous or dangerous. So, for example, we have the great horned owl. These owls are majestic. But I notice this is a moth. Can moths really protect themselves? Can they protect themselves from a bat that wants to eat them or a bird? No. So this moth uses protective mimicry to mimic or to copy. That's what mimic means. To copy what the owl looked like. That way, if that bird is flying by, they're like, oh, nope, stand away. Bye. Get out of here. Also, these snakes. One snake, if it bites you, is completely poisonous. You will die. The other snake is a little garden snake. He doesn't do anything but eat bugs. Can you tell the difference between the king coral snake and the garden snake? Pretty difficult. So that's why they mimic each other. And this is kind of how we were going to do mimicry, because one animal is copying another to survive. So let's just do a quick recap of the 3 adaptations we learned. The first one is, you're right, structural adaptation. And what does that structural adaptation do? It helps, or it's how my animal is built or the different body parts. Can you give me an example of a structural adaptation? You're right. Their skin, maybe they're slimy, maybe they have feathers. Their body coverings. What's another one? You're right. Their movement, how they move, whether they're a snake and they slither around, a bird and they fly, or the last one, everybody, is teeth. You're right. Okay. So far we have structural adaptation. Now we have protective coloration. And what does protective coloration do? You're right. Protective coloration allows my animal to blend into the surroundings, to camouflage, to hide from their predators. Okay, so far we have structural adaptation, how my animal's built, protective coloration, and finally, mimicry. Mimicry. What's mimicry? You're right. Mimicry is an animal, they copy how they look, how they sound, or how they act. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you submit your Canvas activity that goes along with this video.